how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
I'm Azalea. What's your name?
My name is Mrs. Sanchez.
Miss Sanchez. Nice to meet you. So, I know you recently contacted me from the school because you've had some issues with your grandchildren, is it?
Mm-hmm.
How many grandchildren do you have?
I have 2.
You have 2 grandchildren. Great. So before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that everything you say in this room is completely confidential. Nothing you'll say will get out of here. The only time I do have to break that promise is that if I have a duty to warn. So if there's any sign of child abuse, elderly abuse, or harm to yourself or others, I do have to report that. I will go through you first, and then contact my supervisor and go from there. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So everything you say is confidential, except for those 3 items. Okay, and is it okay if I take notes during this session? I just forget easily, and it'd be easier to get notes. Okay, great. So put that's here and everything. Okay. So, what brings you in today?
Well, my husband, he recently had a stroke, and so he's having some trouble with that. But also, my 2 grandchildren have kind of been going through some stuff at school. And so they just thought that I needed to get with the social worker and see what we can do.
Okay. So with your grandchildren, what have they been going through at school?
Well, I have the youngest one, the little girl. Her name is Maria. She's 10 years old. She is just kind of becoming more reserved and to herself. She doesn't really play with others anymore. Just really quiet and not talking to people. My other one, Tony. He's 13, and he's started becoming real, talking back to his teachers. He recently got suspended at school for fighting. I just don't really know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So does Tony and Maria, do they have any activities outside of school, or do they just go to school and home, or what's their life after school?
Most of the time they go straight home.
Straight home, so from school to home. Okay. Well, I'm sorry you're going through that, and I'm sorry, what they're going through. What happened to their parents?
Their dad was driving home from a party one night with their mom, and they got in a car accident and they were killed.
Okay. And do they know that? Do they know that they were at a party, or do they just think they're at a car accident? Or
I'm not really sure. It hasn't really been talked about a whole lot, but I know that they know that they were in a car accident.
Okay. So how long ago was that?
It was about 5 years ago.
5 years ago? Okay, great. So Maria was about 10 and Tony was about, Maria was about 5 and Tony was about 8?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they've been at your home for 5 years. They haven't been with any other relatives?
Mm-hmm. Just us.
No? Okay. How have they adjusted since then at your home? Like, have they caused problems at home, or?
No, not really. I thought they were adjusting pretty well. They don't really cause me or my husband any problems, but it's just been recently with school that it's really been starting to show where they've been acting out and stuff.
Okay. So, make note of that. Okay. Well, as you know, our agency, we offer different groups to talk to with kids that have lost both their parents, whether that's been with drug abuse, alcohol abuse, sickness, or car accidents. Our agency does offer little counseling sessions just with them and other children. Or do you think you would be okay if they would join?
Yeah, I think that'd be okay. I think that'd be good for them.
Okay. So is it okay if I make a note to maybe look into it in the future?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So look into little counseling kind of group sessions for them to join, and maybe it would help them being around other children that have, gone through what they've gone through. Kind of talk it out. Because do they see anybody? Do they talk to anybody?
No. It's
Okay.
just been kind of me and their grandfather, and now all this stuff that's happening with their grandfather. It's hard to explain that with them too, and so I don't know if that's affecting this or not either.
Okay. You said he suffered from a stroke, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he suffered from a stroke, and do they know he had a stroke? Or do they just think he's sick?
I think they just mainly think that he's sick.
Okay.
They don't understand, it's hard. I can't. It's really hard for me. It makes me really emotional to explain that, you know, when he comes home, he's not going to be the same. He's going to have some impairments and stuff, and I don't really know how to explain that to them at their age.
Well, that's very strong of you. I see that you're a strong person, that you're going through all this, but you're still there and you're still concerned because you came and asked for help and you're here talking to me and, you know, you're wanting to find some answers to it. So I think that's very strong of you to get out there and ask for help because you are in a hard situation. You're raising teenagers again. And, you know, you've had your children, but now you're taking over the role of your grandchildren. That's amazing. It's super strong of you. And, you know, your grandchildren are lucky to have you. I want you to know that because you're doing everything possible to make sure they're okay and you're concerned with them. So for your husband, is he coming home soon?
Yes, he should be coming home pretty soon. We just need to figure out what we're going to do because we have a 2-story house and he can't exactly go up the stairs right now. So
okay, and does he work?
No, he's retired from the post office.
Okay, so he's retired. Are you retired?
No, I've been cleaning houses and things just to kind of help our income out a little bit.
Okay, great. So you clean houses. Do you think with your husband coming home and living with a 2-story home, which could be a little bit problematic, would you continue cleaning houses?
I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to juggle everything because I know he's going to need help, a lot of help, and I'm going to have to do, help the kids, pick the kids up, and then clean houses, and I don't know how I'm supposed to get everything all done at the same time. I would like to clean houses because we do need that money.
Okay. How would you feel about getting some financial help? Maybe getting on food stamps for a little bit just to kind of help you get a little help.
I mean, if we qualified for that, that'd definitely be helpful.
Okay, I will look into that for sure. And so we can get you guys signed up for it, and so it can just take a little bit of the stress away if possible.
Yeah.
Okay. And with this 2-story home, that concerns me because, like you said, you're both older and your kids are at school, and if you can get them into counseling groups, they'd be a little bit more preoccupied, and it'll help them kind of get distracted a little bit. How would you feel about getting someone to go into your home and caring for your husband?
Kind of like what is that?
Assisted living.
Okay.
And they would go into your home though.
Okay.
So he wouldn't be moved, or you guys wouldn't move. They would come into the home, and like a nurse, pretty much, going in there and.
I mean, I would be okay with that. It just kind of depends on how much it costs.
Okay, we can definitely look into that and look for programs that would help with the cost.
Okay.
So let me take that down. Okay, and then so your grandchildren, I'm sorry, they're not in any activities, right?
Not outside of school, not at the moment.
Okay, so maybe with your 10-year-old, you said that she's kind of quiet, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so how about we get her into maybe a reading group? Does she like to read, or any other, activities she likes to do at home? Listen to music, dance?
Yeah, she really likes to draw and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can get her into an art group.
Okay.
Draw, and then so you said that your 13-year-old, he was suspended from school.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Have you talked to him about it?
Yeah, a little bit, but he's kind of withholding, with me. He just kind of has a major attitude problem right now, and he doesn't really want to talk about it with me either.
Okay, so maybe with these counseling groups, we can look into individual groups. Maybe he just needs someone to talk to, by himself. Was he close to his dad?
Yeah, they were both close.
They were both close.
Yeah.
So maybe he just needs that liberation of talking to. So I will look into personal groups for him. And then, does your husband know he was suspended?
No, I haven't told him yet. I just don't think that he's ready to hear about that stuff.
Okay. Then. Okay, so far you've told me that you are taking care of your 10-year-old grandchild and your 13-year-old grandson. and they don't have any activities outside the home. They lost their parents 5 years ago in a car accident. And that your husband recently suffered a stroke, and he's getting out soon, which is great, which means his health is progressing. But you're also concerned about living in a 2-story home and about how he will get to and from. You're also worried about the expenses it comes with, medical bills, and just getting ends to meet and everything. I see that your 13-year-old has caused a little bit of trouble, and your 10-year-old is more quiet and self-reserved, which concerns you. And I can see that you're stressed, and you're, in a way, you're getting to that point that you've asked for help, and that's great. That shows really enormous amount of strength from you, and asking for help and getting help, because we're gonna get it for you. We will do our best to help you with that. So let's do goals. So at the end, once we meet these goals, we can kind of terminate our sessions, and which means that you and your family have met these goals, okay? So I'm going to do 2 different goals. We're going to do goals for your grandchildren, and then goals for your family in general. So this is going to be for your family, and this is going to be for the grandchildren. So out of everything we've talked about in the different situations, what would you feel like the most important thing you want to take care of first with your grandchildren?
Just get them, some help with talking about their parents. Get them some help with their, behavior at school.
Okay, so going into counseling groups, and help them behave. Okay, so we can do counseling. And to improve behavior and help them get out of that. What would the second one be?
Maybe make some friends.
Making some friends.
Yeah, make some friends.
Okay, so that could be joining groups. Joining different clubs per se. So we and you said Maria, she likes to draw. Okay, so we can even look up some clubs at school that have drawing, or even in our community. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I will look into that. Looking into there. Okay, and what would the third one be?
Let's see. I guess kind of help explain to them what's going on with their grandfather for when he does come home.
When he does come home? Okay, with that one, how did you feel about you, your husband, and the 2 grandchildren coming in, and we can have a group session together, and we can talk about these goals that me and you have talked about to them, and if they agree with that, we can go from there, or maybe they want to make some readjustments of their own. How would you feel about doing a group?
I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be transporting him whenever he does come home. So, I don't know. Maybe a home visit would be better for us right now.
Okay, so a home group session. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so would that be your third goal for them?
Yeah.
Okay. So a home session. We can definitely get that started and reviewed into with Grandpa. Okay, and let's start with this with your family, and mostly focusing on your husband too, on Mr. Sanchez.
I think definitely the first goal is going to be how we're going to, work with the house being a 2-story house and the only bathroom being on the 2nd floor.
Okay, so we can manipulate that into getting from place 1 to place 2. Okay, so moving around, adjusting to the new lifestyle. Moving around and then adjusting to the lifestyle. Okay, what would your second one be?
Okay, maybe, help us figure out what we're going to do with finances.
Finance, okay, yeah. So that could be with food stamps, and then with the assisted living, with the nurse. Okay. Okay, and then what would your third one be?
Maybe, maybe do some family. Well, I guess that was kind of already a goal for the children.
How about doing activities as a family? Going to the park, going to church. I don't know if you're religious, but maybe finding some different family activities for you guys. Something a little bit not stressful and very active because of your husband, but maybe going out more as a family. How would you feel about that?
That'd be good.
Okay,
Spend
so
some more
family
time together.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really great one. And that could essentially help your husband's health, and by him kind of pushing it a little bit harder to get better, and then that could help your children be more open, and maybe having your grandson be more open and talking to his grandpa about his dad or what happened, and maybe him releasing some of that stress and anger that he has. Okay. All right. So what we've talked about today is problems at school that your 13-year-old grandson has, been through. He was suspended, so we definitely have to make sure he is turning his homework on time. And then we talked about your 10-year-old granddaughter, and how she likes to draw, but she's quiet. So we're going to definitely look into different clubs, for art, or maybe a reading club or something she'll like. We've also talked about having home sessions, with Grandpa, and kind of maybe having all of us there would help him, understand your grandson's situation and what he's going through, so he doesn't feel bombarded in a way too. We have to go around that. We've also talked about your husband's health, how he was recently suffered from a stroke. He's retired, and he's going to come home soon, and so you're worried about him moving from, the 2-story house, from his bedroom to the bathroom, which is downstairs. And so we will look into finding a assisted living nurse that could come in and help you, and maybe that could kind of take some chores off your chest. Mm-hmm. And since you do clean houses and you still want to keep doing that, we can also look into food stamps and kind of helping you not worry so much about food, and that could essentially help him with his health, because we have different pamphlets and brochures about what to give someone who has suffered from a stroke food wise, and that can go with that. And then we've also talked about family activities, about how you guys wanted to go out more as a family and just be reconnected. Has everything I've said, does that sound right, or is there something you want to change?
I think it sounds about right. I think it sounds good.
All right, well, it was really nice meeting with you, Mrs. Sanchez, and we will continue this in a week, and I'm really excited to meet the rest of your family.
All right.
Thank you.